everybody, welcome to part 2 of the study abroad application process. If you haven't watched part 1, it'll be over here. In the second part of the application process, we're going to be talking all the way from selecting what college you want all the way to the HPU side of the application process. So let's get started. So for the first step of the application process, I would really recommend setting an appointment with your study abroad advisor and your academic advisor, just so you can get a feeling for what courses you have available to take while you're studying abroad, and then what the study abroad office thinks is a possibility depending on your major or the country you're choosing to study at. And if you saw my previous video, I also showed how to make an appointment with study abroad if you're looking for that, and if you're an HPU student already, you sort of know how to do appointment setting up with your academic advisor as well. When you go to your academic advisor, let them know that you're interested in studying abroad. Even if you haven't necessarily selected the program or whatever that you want to go to, let them know that you want to study abroad and ask them for a print-up sheet or whatever it is that they can provide you that tells you what courses you can take when you're abroad, what credits you have free, and what maybe major, depending on the college that you go to. You could also set up a second appointment later on. I would recommend setting up a second appointment after this just to follow up with your academic advisor. Although you could probably do a walk-in for that, is where they would have you just to follow up with them and let them know that this is kind of what you're thinking, just so they have an idea and they can make sure that you are on the track to graduate. Same with study abroad. Like I said in the previous video, they cannot read your mind, so maybe take a browse at the HPU website beforehand and look at what countries you might be interested in, and then when you have narrowed down the list a little bit about countries, then the study abroad office has more of an idea of how to help you choosing maybe the college with the program that you need that's right for you. So the second thing that I really recommend is HPU Study Abroad. They have study abroad events where you can go there, and they have booths outside on 4th Street, as well as I think in the HLC cafeteria a couple times a semester, where they have like all the brochures, and they have the people from the study abroad office, as well as people who have previously gone to study abroad there to like help you out or let you know what that specific type of program is about. And they'll let you know also how to set up an appointment if you have any questions. Also, study abroad has the general information center both at preview day and during orientation week and during the semester, where they tell you about like the different types of programs, which is similar to what I did in the first video, where they let you know. And I think it's a really good thing because you can also go and ask the program director, you know, one-on-one, ask her questions, and she's really great about it. They also have application assistance, which is where they'll help you, like, you know, fill out the application if you have any questions, as well as like help you get an idea of what you want to write in your HPU study abroad essay, because there is an essay that you have to fill out with your application, and then a separate one if you want to do the scholarship application as well. And then they also have a funding session where they tell you all about the different kinds of funding that you can get relative to the type of program that you're going to and the best way to go about getting that, and all those sorts of things. And that's where you can really ask about, you know, like, how can I fund this? Like, I want to do this program, like, what are kinds of funding? And you can really, again, like, all these programs are great because you can ask them one-on-one if you have any specific questions, and they'll try to help you the best you can. If your question may be too specific to the program you're going to, then they might need to sit down with you during an appointment and tell you like what that would be like. But generally, they should be giving you a good idea of how to afford the study abroad programs and, you know, stuff like that. All right, the next step would be, if you haven't done so already prior to your appointments, research the countries and the schools that you are thinking of applying to. For example, I am applying to a college in Japan, so I researched a little bit about the neighborhood as well as Japan in general, although I did have some previous, you know, background about that. So really please look at the country and look at the colleges. Are they near the area that you want to be in? You know, I know some people have specific areas that they want to be in because it either makes it easier to like explore things, or maybe you want to, for example, learn the dialect in that specific area, stuff like that. And then while you're researching the school, make sure you can like find the courses that they offer for the study abroad program, because generally, especially colleges like Japan or colleges in Spanish-speaking countries, the programs are they have English programs as well as like some programs for in the native language. So you want to make sure you can see the courses that they offer for the study abroad program, because those are the ones that you're going to need to get approved by the study abroad office. If they don't have it on the school's website, make sure to ask about this during your study abroad appointment. They send it to the school, to their partner schools, to let them know what courses they will be offering during the time that you're going to be there. For example, the college that I'm applying to, I started my application back in kind of mid-October. You know, I really wanted to get like a super early jump on things, which is never a bad idea, I would like to remind you. But yeah, I tried to get an early start on things. The college did not have any of their courses for the fall 2018, spring 2019 school year yet. So I had to wait, and they didn't have them out until I think around Christmas or something like that. Your college might be consistent, but generally the study abroad programs tend to be kind of tentative depending on the amount of students that they have and stuff like that. Also, research the kind of clubs, like, you know, you never know. I mean, maybe you want to go to a college, like all the colleges kind of look the same, but one of the colleges might have dorms with a meal plan. The other one might not have dorms with a meal plan. The other one might not have dorms at all. Other ones might have homestay programs. And then the clubs that they offer at school, like maybe you want to join a specific sport or club dedicated to like a certain part of the culture. Like in Japan, in the college that I'm applying to, there's a club specifically for Kyudo, which is like the Japanese style archery instead of like the Western style archery. And then there is also a club for calligraphy and a club for ikebana, which is like the flower arrangement and stuff like that. So really look into like the school and just not even just like their courses, but past the courses. Like what kind of experience can they offer you? Which leads me to step 4. Step 4 will be you picking your school. Now this, I know some people like to juggle back and forth. Even I did, like I thought I picked my school, but then I really hadn't. Picking your school obviously is the essential part of the study abroad process, because you need to know what school you're going to in order to move on with this next step, which school you want to go to in order to move on to the next part of the study abroad process, because you have to be nominated. So HPU has to nominate you for a certain program. Now for my school, the application doesn't open till March, so my school can't technically nominate me until March, but I can still do this, my side of the HPU process. So just make sure when you pick your school, you let your study abroad advisor know, and that way they can give you more information specific to that school, like maybe send you their application process, you can get a good look. But even like my school, like their application process, they've already like put up the paperwork or some of like the information. So for example, my school, like they sent out like this form where they had the semester like fees and stuff like that. So like for example, like I have to pay national health insurance when I go to Japan, because I'm going to be there for more than 3 months, which means I need a visa, which means I have to enroll in the national health insurance program. There's also stuff like the cleaning and you know, how much they expect me to pay for food per semester, or you know, your school might have a meal plan, in which case how much their meal plan costs, etc. Stuff like that, as well as program schedule for the next semester. That is super important, you know, because you want to know like when to book your ticket, because you really shouldn't book your ticket until you know you've been accepted into the college. Like, so when they tell you you've been accepted, and then you want to know when you have to be at that school by. For example, I don't start school until the 15th of September or so at that college, but they want me to be there on the last day of August. That's 2 weeks beforehand, because they have orientation. It's 2 weeks of orientation, and if you don't have the schedule, you don't know about it, so a good idea to check the schedules. Once you actually pick your school, you can do a lot more school-specific research, you know? So the next step of the study abroad process will be choosing scholarships. Depending on what you're doing, you are eligible for scholarships. If you are using your VA benefits while you're abroad, you are not eligible, you cannot use your scholarships, but you know, this is something that you're already aware of. Once you come to HPU, the VA office preps you on like the understanding of like using scholarships and FAFSA alongside. But if you are not using your Veteran Affairs benefits, you are eligible to apply for the scholarships, and stuff. And you know, depending, like I mentioned in the previous video, depending on the program, there are specific kinds of scholarships. So look into those and make sure you attend the scholarship/funding session that HPU, the Study Abroad office, offers, because it'll be really useful. Yeah, you really want to know about it. Also, you know, there's like lots of external scholarships. HPU has a Study Abroad scholarship specific to the Study Abroad program. This is money designated specifically for the program. You can ask the Study Abroad advisor more about that. And you know that there is an essay that is part of the Study Abroad program, so you really should look into what the topic for that is. It may vary year to year or semester to semester what the topic is, but just so you know, you will have to provide an essay when you're doing your Study Abroad application. Also, as you know, there's like the GoFundMe pages. You know, that's a great way to, like, I guess, get funding for your like plane ticket or whatever you need. Because, you know, I mean, there's always people out there like looking to like fund, especially for like Study Abroad programs. There's always somebody who's generous enough out there to, like, you know, give you 50 bucks or something to like get you on your way to like affording your ticket. So the next step would be to looking at the Study Abroad paperwork. Now, when you're doing this, I really recommend getting like a folder where you can keep all your stuff in it. Paperwork can get so easily lost, and you just want to make sure you have everything together in one place. Like on this side, like I have my HPU side of the application process, and then on this side I have my Japanese colleges, the start of their paperwork that they want. HPU, now their Study Abroad application is now completely online. I don't know if they still do the paper applications, but I was one of the first people, because they just released it this semester, to do the online application, and it was really easy actually, and kind of thankful it was on paper, because that way you can just copy and paste your essay instead of having to print it out, you know. There's a couple steps to like the Study Abroad application, so maybe I'll try to like put the video here of what it looks like. But you have to fill in your basic information, like your name, your HPU ID, how many credits you have available, what college you're applying to when you're going abroad, which is why I said you should pick your college. And then they also want you to like have a list of courses that you plan to take abroad. Now, of course, these courses can kind of relatively change, but generally you should know at this point what courses you want to take and their equivalent at HPU to your like thing. So with that, they'll ask you, have you fulfilled your course approval request forms? So CARF forms. So actually this might be a little too bright. No, it's good. Yeah, so it has kind of like the instructions here on this page. The Study Abroad office will kind of like explain this to you when you go in for your appointment, how this is going to work. But pretty much you will have to fill in kind of like this. So they'll ask you for the course requirement at HPU. You want the host university course. So then they'll ask you for whatever, so you get this off of the host university's course thing, and make sure that at this point, if the school itself doesn't have it on their website, HPU should have their general course syllabus, in which case they have a description. If you do not have this, you'll have to request it, because the department wants to know what this is. Forms are digital, so I would send the digital form to whoever needs to approve it. As you can see, sometimes the descriptions are like really long, and so they get cut off. The department chair or the Study Abroad office will check off if they've approved it or not, and they'll signature it. And then if they do not approve it, then they might provide you with a suggestion with what they think is a good idea. And then here on the back of the list, you just need to provide a list of what courses you have left to take. If you have free gen eds or your major courses, and then free electives, minors, all that stuff. You'll have to turn in those forms to the Study Abroad office, in which case they'll scan them in and everything, and just upload those to your application file. And then once you get to the next page of the Study Abroad form, that's where the Study Abroad essay will be. And then after that, I think it'll also ask you if you're applying for the scholarship. If you say yes, then you have to fill out the scholarship essay portion. And you can work on these essays beforehand. The next step is, if you have not already done so, turn in your course approval paperwork. Now, of course, study abroad courses, since they are tentative, like I mentioned before. It is possible that they will change while you're there. You could pick up a course that you think would correspond roughly, and then you could send that in to like the department liaison or to the study abroad office, depending on the course that needs approving. And you know, the final step would be check with your study abroad advisor to see if you have any paperwork that you have left to do on HPU's side. So this is a good idea, because if you're applying at the time that I'm making this video, the study abroad deadline for fall 2018 is March 16th. So by March 16th, HPU needs to have all your paperwork, and if you've forgotten that you have a part of your paperwork and you thought you had everything in, well, that sucks because you missed the deadline. Now, after the deadline is when HPU will start announcing the candidates that have been accepted into the program. But generally, you know, as long as you have a good GPA and everything, I think you should be okay. I think also after the deadline is when they'll probably start addressing the study abroad scholarships as well. Yeah, actually the study abroad application side on HPU's side is actually fairly quick. Like the longest part really is just finding the courses that you need approved and then, you know, sending those to the appropriate chairhead. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. While you're researching the schools, if you have any questions and you cannot find them anywhere, just ask the HPU Study Abroad office, and if they don't know, they will contact that school and ask. Because I wanted to do the homestay program. Once their like new schedule came out, I didn't see the fees for the homestay program, and it turned out that as of the time that I'm going to be going, they have eliminated the homestay program, which made me so sad. But you know, I really had my heart set on the school, so I decided to go anyways. So yeah, everybody, that's the end of the study abroad video. Like I said, if you haven't watched part 1, go and watch that. And you know, just wait for part 3, in which case I will show you the college that I'm applying to and you know, the steps to doing that. Just know that that will be coming out probably late March, just because the school doesn't open their application until mid-March, and I really want to finish the application before I, you know, show you guys the steps. So yeah, look out for part 3, and I will see you guys later. Bye.